Hi, this is Mike, and I'm back with an overview of Caustic Guide Beta. This video will just quickly explain the major parts that exist currently. There's a lot that's going to be added to this app, and there's a lot that's disabled. We're testing the base. Okay, in the previous videos we talked about the About dialog and settings. This one, I'm just going to do a quick overview of the UI. Okay, this is the navigation drawer. It collapses. That was talked about. It has different settings to iconize this so you don't have the labels, so you have more room on the screen. And this home is kind of empty right now, and it just shows you information on the current project, and then it will show you, if a template's loaded, the information on the current template. One thing to understand about my frameworks is that there's a concept of a project, and then there's a concept of a template, and it might be confusing, but a project is the outer shell that holds a bunch of things. And the project as it stands is more or less saving UI settings and stuff, so you can just pretty much for now work in the same project and just load different templates. So for example, if you saved a template in a project and then created a new project, it would load with no template. But you could load that same template that you created in the other project into the new project, and then the project would have a pointer to that same template file. And when you reopen the project, it would be pointing to the exact same template file. And when you edited the template, it would be editing the template that the other project is pointing to. So the project doesn't actually hold the template. And this is the project menu. So when you're saving up here with the save icon, you're actually saving the project, but there's a two-step save, so it's saving the template that's loaded as well. The second one is the major container of Caustic Guide, and that's a template. A template holds basically everything that a Caustic file can, and plus a lot more with metadata and stuff. So a template is another container, and it allows the Caustic data to be saved, but it also allows me to kind of abstract things like mixer settings, effects settings, patterns, note data, master settings. A lot of the stuff in Caustic that you can't actually save. And that's the purpose of Caustic Guide, is to create Lego pieces of a Caustic file and then load those Lego pieces at random into new files. So you can create Caustic tracks, new Caustic tracks, or use the pieces in an application like Caustic Remix. So in the template category, you have edit, metadata, and scenes. Scenes is for Caustic Remix. You can preview scenes that you've created in Caustic Remix, and Caustic Guide will also allow you to preview or to create scenes from existing patterns or load patterns. Edit template right now is empty because there's no template. Metadata is disabled because there's no template. And scenes is empty because there's no template. Export Caustic will take your current template that's loaded and export it as a Caustic file. This shows where it would load, where it would export if it was just an export Caustic, whereas there's two options I'll get to when we're actually creating a template that allows you to specify the location of the exported Caustic file. And this check mark tags the metadata onto the Caustic file. Export as presets is another list of the current machines, and it will export a batch of presets, Caustic presets. So if you had 14 machines in a track, it'll export all 14. Export as sounds, it will export a batch of sounds, and a sound is a container for a track in Caustic. So a sound holds the machine preset, the pattern data, the note data, the shuffle data, the mixer data, the effect data, and the song track in the song arranger. And export as group, this is exporting as a group of sounds. And you can select, when I get to the how-tos, you can select a group of sounds. And then name it, metadata it, and then export it. So when you save that group, you can actually import that group as a chunk of tracks. So if you have two beatboxes and a synth that go together, you can export those as a group and use them later in another project. And the template, new empty template, creates just an empty template that you can create blank machines. You can create machines from presets. You can create machines from sounds. And it has no data to begin with. New from Caustic actually imports an existing Caustic file, and then you can remove or append sounds into that file and then re-export it as Caustic and edit it in the Caustic app. Loads a project, or loads a template, an existing template, into the project, and reloads the template. So if you were editing the same template in Caustic Remix and you saved it in Caustic Remix, you could just instantly reload the existing template if it's the same one. And the settings I talked about, and this is the save project. So without anything loaded, the UI is pretty simple. The next video I'll talk about creating templates and get down to the nitty-gritty of what this actually does. I just wanted to quickly go over the main elements in the UI. Thanks.